in this video, I'm going to be showing you exactly how to follow up on your high ticket sales job applications to actually hear back, stop getting ghosted, and land these roles. So the purpose of this video and following up is to give recruiters compelling reasons to move you to the next stage or hire you outright, right? Or keep you top of mind, right? So whether you're pre-interview and you're looking to move to that next stage, which is the interview, if you're post-interview and you're looking to move to the next stage or be hired, right? Whether you're in the first round, second round, whatever interview, or you've finished the interview process and you're waiting for a decision, this is going to be applicable to you because all of these strategies will allow you to be the first person at the top of recruiters or business owners' minds when they actually go to make the decision on who they bring into their team. So I'm going to go over two different methods of applications. I recommend you use both of them, and then I'm going to cover and I'm going to give you some examples of stuff to use, and then I'm going to go over the actual cadence, like when we send each of these follow-ups and which one we send, and then I'll kind of summarize everything up. So that's what I'm going to be covering in this video. It's going to be very saucy, so make sure you stay and watch everything, especially until this last piece where I talk about the cadence, because that's very important to get that right. So method one is the value add follow-up. What this looks like is providing additional information, providing additional value to these businesses to show them why you're the right person for the job. So there's three things that you can do in this value add portion of the follow-up process to add value, give more reasons why you're the right guy for the role or girl for the role. And this is what they look like. So the first is additional info or insight, right? So this comes either post-application or post-interview, right? And your goal here is to give new context that proves that you are the right fit. So if we're coming out of filling out an application form or reaching out for our application and we're following up, right, we want to provide extra information on top of what we spoke about in the interview or what we covered in our application or what we covered in our initial Loom video, and ideally an additional Loom video that breaks down the additional reasons as to why or how you fit into that role, right? We want to fill in the gaps from your initial application Loom video or interview, right? So wherever you want to review either the interview you just had or the application you sent in and think, what did I miss? What could I have spoken about to show this business that I'm a better fit? And I talk about what makes a good fit for a role a lot in this high ticket space, all across my YouTube videos. I'll go over it very, very quickly here for you. There's two things, right? Either you're a fit with the prospect, you can relate to them, empathize with them, understand their goals, their struggles, and the reasons that they're interested in these opportunities, right? These business ventures or these coaching opportunities or how to fix their business or whatever it might be, right? Or you're a good fit for the business, right? You relate to the business and their culture and the goals they're searching to achieve and the people that they're impacting and things like that, right? So those are the two things. So you want to add additional information that shows that you are one of those two things or both of those things. So that's what this first kind of piece of the value add follow-up is. Provide more value and information as to why you're a good fit for that business specifically. Now, number two is proof assets. So this is a hard evidence that shows you can deliver and shows you have delivered in the past. So here's a couple of examples of what that looks like, right? We can have screenshots of dashboards and trackers showing cash collected, revenue, close rates, that kind of stuff, right? We can have screenshots and proof of past experience, closing deals, achieving numbers, generating revenue, hitting close rates, hitting quotas, that kind of stuff, right? The next is testimonial clips. So the same way that businesses have testimonials in their marketing funnel, you can use testimonials in your personal marketing funnel of this is why I'm a good sales rep, right? So these could be clips from coaches or managers. It could be screenshots from these people showing them praising you for doing a good job, for hitting quotas or for crushing it in a training, whatever it might be. Using this is additional information, additional evidence that shows proof that you can deliver and that other people in the space who, maybe have a brand or maybe are well known or maybe run a solid business, right, are praising you for doing a good job, right? Next, commission check screenshots, right? Here's me making money previously to show you that I absolutely crushed it in my last role, right? Or a list of referrals, right? Here are people you can reach out to. Here's their phone numbers, here's their WhatsApps, here's their emails. Reach out to them. They'll vouch for me and my ability in this space. And even you could provide proof of experience in an industry, right? So Basically, everything I went over here is more like hard evidence you can deliver, right? They're proof assets. This last one isn't so much that. This is evidence like, here's me closing deals. Here's me succeeding. Here's me going through training. Here's me being a high-level sales rep in the space in the past, right? And if you don't have direct experience, that's where this kind of stuff, right? Testimonials from coaches, referrals from people in the space that you do know who have succeeded can play to your advantage because you might not have these other things, right? So that's the way that you kind of go about this process as someone who's lacking experience. Now, if you don't have experience as well, you can do this, right? We can provide proof of experience in the industry. I got an example here, failed ecom business. If I'm applying to an e-commerce coaching biz op offer that teaches people how to start ecom businesses, I can provide, screenshots and past experience showing I tried to start an ecom business before, I tried drop shipping before, I tried to do this before, and I failed and I struggled, and therefore I would crush it selling this because I know what it's like to be in these people's shoes, to be struggling in ecom, to not be making money, to be losing money, and here's a screenshot of me spending $2,000 on ads and not making a single dollar back, right? You can show this proof of why you're a good fit for the business and the role again, right? So it's additional info and insight, kind of ties into this, but it's more like hard proof screenshots, that kind of thing. So hopefully that makes sense. The final one under the value add method that I have here is call recording. So these are either real or mock / role play sales calls that demonstrate your sales skill, right? These are showing, this is me selling. This is my skill. This is how I would be in your team as a closer for your business, right? Something you want to keep in mind here is we only use realistic or difficult closed calls, right? We don't want to present lay down closes, whether it's a mock call or a real call. The prospect on the other end needs to be giving you a tough time. They need to be giving you objections. They need to be, not the easiest prospect in the world. They need to, require a bit of probing to pull their pain out, right? You want it to be realistic, not a lay down close, because a business, when they see your lay down close, right? When you send them call recordings of past closed deals or set appointments or whatever, and it was really easy, they don't get anything from seeing you, hit a strike. Fuck. I'm clearly not much of a sports guy. I just into the UFC, but they hit a home run is what I'm looking for. They bowl a strike, maybe. They hit a home run and easily, set an appointment or close a deal in 15 minutes, right? They set an appointment in 2 minutes or they close a deal in 15 minutes. That isn't showing your skill as a closer, right? What is showing your skill as a closer is, here's me in the trenches with this prospect for an hour and a half, going through objection after objection and shifting their mindset and doing all of these things, and then getting it paid in full at the end, right? That's what businesses want to see. So that's something to keep in mind. Here's my recommendation. You want to have 3 mocks that you can present to any business, right? So if you've been in the high ticket space yourself before, you'll have real sales calls. Likely it might just be in 1 or 2 industries, but you want 3 different mocks for 3 different client avatars. What I mean by that is these 3 here. You want some kind of mock call or real sales call recording of a B2B sale. So selling a service, right? Selling lead gen or marketing or social media management or AI integration or something like this to a business owner, right? If it's a mock to someone pretending to be a business owner, right? In a B2B format, because that is its own type of sale. The next are two different B2C sales. Now, not just two different products, but 2 different prospects, right? 2 different client avatars, because if you just have call recordings selling to one client avatar, you send those call recordings to a business that doesn't match that client avatar, it's very, very difficult for a business to look at that and go, this person can sell our offer, because you weren't selling anything close. The sales structure and style wasn't the same. And there's no reason for them to believe, based on you selling this lead gen service, that you're going to be able to sell fitness coaching to Teresa in her 40s with 3 kids at home, right? When you sold to a 20-year-old business owner how to generate 500 booked calls a month or something like that, right? Very different sales styles, very different prospects. So we then want 2 different B2C calls. We want a standard B2C call and we want a high-level B2C call. So what I mean by that, standard B2C is selling something to an everyday Joe, right? I'm selling fitness coaching to Teresa, right? I'm selling ecom mentorship to Jimmy, right? Regular, everyday people trying to learn a skill or whatever it is, right? They're trying to learn something for the most part in B2C. It's some kind of biz op, it's some kind of coaching. that's what we want here. Then we want something high level, right? We want a high level B2C call. This is where we're selling to a high level individual. So we're selling to John, who works a corporate job as a COO, or we're selling to Andrew, who's a lawyer, or we're selling to Tracy, who's a doctor, right? We're selling to these high level individuals who are going to be kind of like the midpoint between your standard B2C and your B2B, right? Where they're a more logical thinker, and they're making decisions. They probably have a little bit more money. It's not as much a money issue or money objections you get other kind of things. It's a more high level thinker. Like, the sale is going to be different. So we want a mock or a sales call recording for each one of these three, right? Because when we do, then literally any offer you apply to will fit into one of these categories, right? You'll be able to find, like, maybe it's kind of a little bit in between one of the two, but you'll have a call recording or two call recordings in those cases that you can present and say, here's me selling to a similar prospect, a similar offer to a similar prospect to your business. This is a great way to be ready and prepared to apply to anything in the space. And when the second a business asks you for a call recording to review, you're like, here, check this one out. You don't have to go and record one yourself because you've already got one in the bank. Now, if you want to stand out, if you want to go the extra mile, we can specify mocks. I'm applying to one specific offer. I'm going to specify my mock call to their business. I'm going to do some research on their company. How much is their product? What exactly are they selling? What are the problems of their prospects? What do they help solve? What are the goals and outcomes that they sell, right? I'm going to put all of that into a script or a framework, and then I'm going to do a mock call selling their offer specifically, right? And then we're going to be able to send us selling their company. We're going to specify a mock call to them, which is going to allow us to stand out. Firstly, because we can present, this is how I'm going to sell your offer for your business. Not just here's how I sell in general, but this is me selling for your company already. Proof that I can actually do it, right? All of this comes to value and proof, right? Proof that I can crush it in this role is me selling your offer, right? So that's the first thing. The second thing is you just went the extra mile. Businesses will appreciate, and respect sales reps who go the extra mile, who spend 2 hours, an hour planning and structuring and figuring out what their script is, and then an hour going through a full closing mock call and then sending it to the business and going, here's me selling your offer. Business owners, recruiters will respect that extra mile that you've gone for them, right? Even if they don't think you're the right fit and they don't hire you, you're going to be elevated in status to them. And maybe they've got a friend who's hiring. Maybe they know a recruiter who's hiring. Maybe they can connect you with someone. Maybe they're hiring for another offer that you're a better fit for and they can present you there simply because you went the extra mile. You did the extra work, right? So that's an extra thing you can do. Specify your mock calls to stand out to people. So these are the three things. We provide additional info or insight in a Loom video. We provide proof assets, screenshots. Typically, it's just going to be like screenshots and documents and things like that, like hard proof and evidence. And we're going to provide call recordings, right? Whether it's mock or real sales calls, we want to have these three so we're prepared if we want to stand out. I don't recommend doing this for every single business you apply to, but we can present these mock calls to businesses that we really like and we really want to land the role we think we're a really good fit for. Go that extra mile. Spend a couple of extra hours, because here is the worst case scenario of doing that, right? Here's the worst case scenario of doing all of this. We went the extra mile, we spent more time, we sent more stuff, we increased our chances of landing the roles. Hey, worst case scenario, we didn't land the role from that, but best case scenario, we've got all of this information we can use for similar offers, we can use for other offers that aren't even similar to apply and interview with them and potentially land those roles. We've leveled up our skills, we've leveled up the resources we've got, in our back pocket that we can pull out at any time for any application and any follow-up with other businesses. A lot of this stuff is going to be reusable, specifically proof assets and these three mock calls. So get this stuff together so you can send it in all of your follow-ups and use it in the consistent follow-up cadence that we're going to talk about in a second. Now, method 2. This is the pattern interrupt follow-up. So this is a little bit different, and I'll speak out where we use this in a second, but this is just something that's to stand out, right? Our goal is to stand out here. It's not anything too special or serious. So the first thing that we want to do here to interrupt their pattern is to have just a funny opening or subject line, right? A short line that breaks the monotony and references their silence, right? You kind of call them out, you say something a little bit funny, you say something a little bit different, and you stand out, right? A couple of examples in here. I just put out a missing person report. Have you seen my interview feedback, right? They haven't gone back to you about your interview. They haven't told you whether you got the role or not. Something funny, you stand out. I swear I'm not a stalker, just excited to close for you, right? You stand out. It's a little bit bit weird. When I read this first thing, I swear I'm not a stalker, and I see that in my inbox, I'm clicking that. I'm being like, what the fuck is this? Like, what is going on, right? Knock knock, who's there? Still hungry sales rep, right? Little knock knock joke for the comedians in the crowd. If enthusiasm were illegal, I'd need a lawyer. Hit me back before I'm cuffed, right? Like something funny, something a little bit outlandish, something a little bit silly, right? Get a little bit goofy with it. Saw you watch my Loom. Blink twice if interested, right? This is, again, you can do this for literally anything. Any scenario, you send an application that you didn't hear back. You send an application, they saw it, you didn't hear back. You send an application, you heard back, and then they ghosted you. You interviewed, they ghosted you. You interviewed, they told you they'd reach out to you, you didn't hear back. All of these scenarios, if you can't figure it out in your head and you're not creative enough, ChatGPT is right there. Drop a message. Hey, I'm looking to come up with a funny opening line for this outreach, for this follow-up outreach I'm doing for a job opportunity I'm applying to. I haven't heard back. Here's the situation. What should I say? Right? ChatGPT will help you do that. These were half created by ChatGPT and then a little bit modified by me because ChatGPT isn't that great at doing it. I'm not either, but just a couple of random examples for you. So the second thing here is memes and GIFs, right? A quick image or a GIF that conveys the lighthearted and funny vibe of the situation, right? All exactly the same as this. Instead of just a text line, we throw a GIF in, right? I love is there's this GIF of the baby he's like knocking on the door, and then he's like standing there and he's waiting for a response. He's not getting a response. So I send that for all of my follow-ups if I've sent a couple of messages and haven't heard back. You want to stand out. You just want to do something different, right? So meme or GIF, stand out a little bit. So that's what this is, right? And I'll talk about when we use this. This is a lot more like technical and applicable. This is just like when you haven't heard back for a while, you start using this kind of stuff. So you continue following up, but you don't, and you don't risk the chance of them just falling to the bottom of the inbox and never hearing back, right? Okay, so here is a couple of things to keep in mind. Now, these are for like you haven't heard back in a while. It's coming down to like these follow-ups here. I'll talk about the cadence in a second, but this is kind of what comes last. But before that, you still want to stand out and pattern interrupt. It's a key piece of the follow-up process. There's a couple of things. So first thing that I haven't covered yet, which I should have probably earlier in the video, but whatever, I'm not going to re-record. Your goal in following up is to do two things. Give yourself a lot higher chance of being seen, being heard, being noticed, and being hired, right? That's first. You're giving yourself a better chance of actually getting the job. I keep having to pause the recording because my oh my God, my cat Gus here is being a little bit crazy. Isn't that right, sir? Anyway, just thought I'd call that out here. He's a little bit wild, but anyway, where was I? So that's the first thing, right? You want to stand out. You want to give yourself the best opportunity to land the role. Now, the second thing is we want to demonstrate the skill of follow-up, right? If you are not following up, how on earth is a business owner going to believe in you enough to hire you, spend money advertising, spend money generating leads, and then having you be the one who's dealing with those leads and not following up, right? They're not. If you are not following up your leads as a sales rep, a business has zero reason at all to trust in you to be a sales rep for their team. You absolutely need to be following up with these businesses for the roles, because if you're not, they're not going to believe you're a good sales rep. And you need to demonstrate the skills in the same way we do when we send call recordings. We need to demonstrate the skill of sales and the follow-up piece of sales in this landing roles process. So keep that in mind, right? So that's what I wanted to say there. Those are two important things. So give ourselves the best opportunity to actually show this business we're the right fit and get them to open our outreach, right? Get them to open our email, get them to open our DM, right? We want to use things like this with every single follow-up we send, every single application we send. The Loom title, this was meant to be title. The Loom title that we send out needs to be customized. None of the Looms that you send out should have the whatever it automatically puts. It needs to be specific, and it should fall in line with this, right? It doesn't need to be these exactly. Again, you can use ChatGPT to come up with some unique options, but $2.3 million closed, ready to crush it for XYZ company. John, this is the guy who's going to outsell your whole team, right? Proof inside, why I'm the killer you need. This will add $2 million per year to your business, right? Say these things that are going to stand out, that a business owner or a sales manager or a recruiter is going to see in their inbox and go, oh, let me click on that. Let me take a look at this person, right? If you don't stand out, if your application subject line or opening line or your Loom thing is something general, something they see from everyone, is, Jackson Bardsley closer application, or company name closer application, or my name, company name, sales manager name, right? It's just the same shit they see from literally everyone else. Don't do that. Don't be that guy who's the same as everyone else, because if you are, you will not land these roles. You will not stand out enough to actually have your application reviewed and therefore actually land the roles, right? So something to keep in mind. Now, follow-up cadence. This is exactly how you use each of these methods as a part of your follow-up cadence. This is when you use each of them. So follow-up number 1 should be the same day, right? Within 0 to 6 hours. If it's post-interview, it should be within an hour. You need to be following up as soon as you get off these interviews so that you're top of inbox and top of mind for these people. So same day, right? If you've just applied, we're going to send a short message with a Loom covering the new insights. What did I miss from my initial application? What additional info can I provide? How can I demonstrate at a higher level that I'm the right fit for this role, right? That's what we want to do here. So same day, 0 to 6 hours from our initial touch, we want to follow up again. If our initial touch was already through email, we'll just follow up through a different platform, a different medium. There you can probably use whatever your original Loom video was, but either way, that's what that looks like, right? Providing the additional information. Follow-up number 2, 3 days later, we haven't heard anything, we follow up again, whether it's post-application, it's post-interview, whatever. In this follow-up cadence, you use this every time. So I might use this once, and then I might interview, and then I might not hear back, and I'll use it a second time. I'll go through the same steps, the same follow-up cadence, the same not the same information, but the same structure of information at each step of the follow-up process. So follow-up number 2, that's where we provide recordings, right? We provide a link to a curated mock or real sales call, right? We provide that to them. That's part of follow-up 2. Now, in all of these follow-ups, I never, ever, 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 ever recommend that you have a big slab of text. Never have a big slab of text. Never have a paragraph. Never have 75 different sentences. Just have the information and a quick message, right? Hey, Jackson, dropping this here. I just closed the deal for XYZ company. Check me out, 6K PIF, right? And then it's the link to the mock call that I did that's specific to their offer. Here's me selling your offer, right? That's my message. That's it. I leave it at that. And they're like, oh, what does he mean he's selling her? He's already on our team. What's going on? And they click that and they see me crushing the sale and they go, I need this guy on my team. Let's get on an interview, right? That's follow-up number 2. Now, follow-up number 3, 6 days from that initial touch or 3 days after this one. So we got one day, or day 1. We've got 3 days later, 3 days later. So this one is where we provide those proof assets. So those screenshots, those testimonials, those referrals, whatever we have, we provide that here. And again, short sentence, right? We keep it very short and simple. Here's me closing XYZ deals. Here's me closing it blah 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 percent. Here's and attach the screenshot, right? Short, simple, sweet, easy. Next, we follow up weekly. Every single week we can provide anything. This is likely going to be the humorous subject lines, the memes, the gifs, some extra value nuggets. We can go through any of these processes again, right? Just put something out there. Just continue the follow-up process every 7 days until we get a firm answer. We're not following up for no reason. We're following up because we want to hear something. Even if it's a no, we want to get that because then we can ask for feedback, right? We want to get something back because if we don't, then we're lost, right? You get lost in the ether of this space. So that's kind of what the structure looks like and how we continue following up. We follow up until we hear something. I would rather hear, piss off, stop following up with me. I'm sick of hearing, I'm sick of getting notifications from your emails than not hearing anything at all. Because if I hear nothing at all, there's potential that opportunity is on still out there for me, and I just haven't followed up hard enough. There's some recruiters that are going to intentionally ghost you to see what your follow-up game is like, to see if you actually got the guts to be a sales rep in this space, right? So, and if you don't, they're not going to hire you. So something to keep in mind. Now, a couple of key points: same day bump wins speed points. This is what I'm talking about here. We need to follow up same day. We're just going to keep pushing. We're going to show that we're really about it. We really want this opportunity. We're really passionate and driven towards their company and their business. It's going to give them a sense of like, this guy's really about it. This guy's really a fit for us. It's also going to give them confidence in you because you've got confidence in yourself enough to follow up the same day you applied or the same day you finished the interview, right? So if the original application, and I spoke about this before, if the original application was on email, we'll just reach out using a different channel, LinkedIn, maybe a Slack community, maybe a school, maybe Instagram, maybe Facebook, whatever, right? For Touch One, and we do that so that we're not spamming them, right? We're not hitting their email twice in the same day just because we haven't heard back. We hit them in, ideally multiple different communication spots. So I'll put, a couple of other places: IG, Facebook. We got school. We got TikTok. This was meant to be school community, so I'll put that there, etc. Right? All of this stuff, we can DM them in a bunch of different places. Now, the sequence matters, right? The first is the extra info and insight, because this demonstrates at a high level, I am a fit for this role, I am a fit for this company. The second is call recording. So this is saying, here is the skill I have. I can do this. I have the skill to do it. Number 3 is the proof screenshots. This is our credibility. I've done this in the past. People believe in me to do this. Here's me showing you that, right? And then number 4 is humor and light and the light value weekly. And that's just to keep us top of mind, right? That's what we're achieving. So these are the 4 things we're achieving from each of these pieces. We're showing we're a fit. We're showing we've got the skill. We're showing we've got credibility to do it. And we're keeping ourselves top of mind for the business. Now, for our subject lines, they must pop and differ. No, when we're following up, we don't just reply to the email and put RE blah blah blah, whatever it is, whatever our last subject line was. We want to mix it up. We want to do something different. Use these. We're going to keep it fresh, right? If we keep it fresh, that increases our chances of this email being clicked on and viewed. If it's just RE something, it's I've already seen this email, let me delete this, right? Number 4, follow up forever but politely. Silence does not equal rejection. You're better off getting a blunt no than being lost in the ether of the high ticket space and all of the other applications in it. So this is the way that you stand out with your follow up. These are the things that you do. If you do this, you're going to land a ton of roles. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.